This building on the east side of New York looks more like a Welsh chapel than probably any other building in the city. It is in fact the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, built originally as a hospital for wounded in the American Civil War. But it does have a Welsh association. The president and the director is Philip Burton, former Port Talbot school teacher and dramatist, who is also the foster father of actor Richard Burton. Today, Philip Burton divides his time between teaching classics to students and administering this academy. Now, how did he become first associated with the American Musical and Dramatic Academy?
That happened about 3 years ago. It was quite new at that time. It's unique, really, because it was formed to give total training for the most distinctive contribution to the theatre from this country, and that's musical theatre. There was no place where under one roof you could get first-class tuition in acting, singing and dancing, and that was the ethos of this place. Well, they ran into trouble, and they called me in after they'd been open a few months, and I was persuaded. I'd given them some advice before, but I was persuaded to come in as director temporarily. I said, I'll give you 3 months. Well, that's 2 years ago, and I'm still here.
I believe you ran into some financial difficulties.
Oh, we
How
did
did you
indeed.
get out of those?
From the start, really, the school was a success artistically, but it's a terribly expensive operation. When I tell you that the rent of this building is $20,000 a year, and we had at that time no help except what we got from students' fees and a very expensive staff, we obviously were bound to run into trouble. And at that time, I was not at all in charge of the business arrangements. So the crisis came in March of last year. At the end of the month, I discovered that there was no money in the bank and $80,000 in debt. And so we were faced with closing. And the work of the academy was so good that I felt this would be a tragedy. So I took it over personally and established a new corporation, of which I am the president, and the academy kept open. I did it by appealing to Richard. Richard came forward and ultimately gave us $27,000. Then in addition, he and Elizabeth did a wonderful poetry reading for us at one of the big theatres on Broadway, which became one of the events of the season. The front seats cost $100 a piece, which is a lot of money. What is it, £35? And with these two efforts, the academy was saved. And since then, all has gone well. So Richard really is the saviour of this place.
Since he came in, I believe a number of other celebrities have also come to the assistance of the academy.
Oh, indeed. Well, what happened was then that I formed a board of directors, which is meeting this week, actually. And many of the names you wouldn't know because they are important business people in this city, but you would know some of them. For instance, Sammy Davis is now a director of this school. Marge Champion, Marge and Gower Champion, Dina Merrill, Goddard Lieberson, who is the president of Columbia Records, Michael Meyerberg, who is an important producer in this city and owns both a film studio and a theatre.
Are we only going to see you in Wales as a tourist?
I doubt that. I doubt that, because life, as you say, is very full and, touch wood, very successful at the moment, and I'm already heavily engaged 2 years from now. I don't seem to have any time. Apart from the academy, there are other things too.
Mr. Burton, I know you have a class to teach. Thank you very much.
You are more than welcome. My best wishes to everybody that I know in Wales.